because we're going to break down salary versus hourly pay so you can make the best choices for, your own career and all that. All right, so first things first, let's get back to basics. What do these terms even mean? A salary. I mean, you probably already know this. It's that fixed amount you get paid usually every year. Doesn't matter if you're pulling all-nighters or, cruising through your work early. That paycheck, it stays the same. Then there's hourly pay. It's all about those hours you're clocking in and out. So what you earn, it directly reflects the time you put in, which can be awesome if you like flexibility or want to maybe rake in some extra cash with overtime. And speaking of cash, the average weekly earnings for U.S. workers as of late 2024, it was $1,165 a week. That's a lot of money.
Okay, so now you're probably thinking, hold on, who decides all this? Do I get a salary or do I get hourly pay? Well, it's not just what you personally prefer. There are laws, actual laws about how you get paid. It's called the Fair Labor Standards Act, the FLSA. And basically, it sets the ground rules for how employees in the U.S. get compensated. So we're talking minimum wage, overtime rules. And yep, it even helps decide if your job gets a salary or an hourly rate. Now, here's where it gets a little interesting. The FLSA has this thing called exempt employees. They're exempt from certain parts of the act, like those overtime rules. To even be considered for a salary, the FLSA says you got to earn at least $684 per week, which, if you do the math, that's about $35,568 a year. But there's another layer to this. It's not just how much you make, it's also about the type of work you actually do. Exempt duties is what they call them. Often involve a lot of managerial responsibility. Think like making decisions, running projects, directing other people's work. If you spend at least 50% of your time doing that kind of stuff, you're more likely to be an exempt employee. Probably get offered a salary. But hold on, we're not done yet. There's a lot more to consider here. Like, what about how it feels to get a steady paycheck versus, maybe getting burnt out with hourly gigs? And what about taxes? Does how you get paid change how much you pay? To have a salary versus working hourly. One of the best things about a salary, it's predictable. You always know how much money is coming in every single payday, which I got to say, that makes budgeting so much easier. It's like that peace of mind. Knowing your rent or mortgage, it's covered no matter what happens. And let's not forget benefits. A lot of salary jobs come with health care, paid time off, sick leave. That stuff can be huge, for your well-being and all. And usually there's a sense of job security too. When you're on salary, it's like you're part of the team. Your role is important. And your income isn't like directly tied to how many hours you work. Okay, but before you go daydreaming about that sweet salary life, let's talk about the downsides. One of the big ones, unpaid overtime. Those late nights, weekend emails, it can easily kind of take over your personal time. You don't even get paid extra for it. It's tough. When there are deadlines, projects piling up, it's hard to separate work from life, especially when you're not, tracking every hour you work. And that brings us to another potential problem. Burnout. When you're not punching a clock, it's easy to push yourself too hard, always be on, even when you're technically not working. That can lead to exhaustion, stress, even resentment later on. Okay, so let's switch gears now. Let's talk about hourly pay. One of the best things, the possibility of overtime pay, time and a half, double time even for holidays and stuff. It's a chance to make some serious money, especially if you're willing to put in the extra work. Plus, with hourly work, there's often a clearer line between work and your personal life. When you're off the clock, you're done. Leave work at work, It can really help with that whole work-life balance thing. And don't forget flexibility. Hourly work can be really flexible, depending on the job and your employer, of course. Might have more control over your schedule. Pick up extra shifts when you want, or even work multiple gigs at once. But of course, there are two sides to every story. One downside of hourly pay. Your income, it can change a lot from week to week, depending on how many hours you're working, which makes it kind of tough to budget, especially if your schedule is unpredictable or you have like a seasonal job. And let's be real, some employers might try to limit your hours just to avoid giving you benefits, like healthcare, which is not good. It's a big financial burden. Yeah. Not always the case, but something to watch out for. So let's imagine this. Let's think about some real life examples. Bring this all together. Picture a nurse working extra shifts at a hospital, every hour of overtime. That's more money in her pocket. Hard work, but she's getting rewarded for it. Now, on the other hand, imagine a marketing manager on salary, working late to finish a big presentation. They're not getting paid extra for those late nights, but they're doing as they care. They want to do a good job. Then you've got a freelance graphic designer, maybe juggling a few different hourly gigs, making their own schedule. They set their rates, choose projects they're actually passionate about. Just a few examples of how salary and hourly pay can really look in real life, each with its own pluses and minuses. But there's another thing we need to talk about, the the psychological impact of all this. How does it affect us? To have a steady paycheck or to be constantly hustling? Does a steady paycheck really give you more peace of mind? How does getting paid a certain way actually affect us? See, it's not just about how much money you have, right? It's about how your pay affects you, like mentally, your motivation, even your overall well-being. Some studies, they actually show that a steady paycheck can make you feel calmer, like less stressed. It's kind of like a safety net financially, knowing you've got your basic needs covered no matter what. Less stress, better sleep, maybe even a better mood overall. But there's another side to this too. Some people say that always getting that same paycheck, it can kind of make you complacent. If you're not out there hustling for every dollar, it's easy to get comfortable. Maybe you stop learning new things or pushing yourself to do more. There's that saying, right? A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. All right, let's flip it. What about the mental side of hourly pay? Well, being able to earn extra with overtime, that can be super motivating. It's like a real tangible reward for all your hard work. You put in the effort, you see the results right there in your paycheck. It can be empowering, makes you want to take on more challenges and earn even more. But, and this is a big but, that hustle, it can wear you down. The pressure to always work more hours, not knowing how much you'll make each week, and maybe not having those benefits. It can lead to stress, burnout, and yeah, even money problems. It's a tough balance, trying to earn more, but also taking care of yourself. So where does all this leave us? Honestly, there's no perfect answer that fits everyone. The best way to get paid, it depends on you, your personality, your career goals, your lifestyle, your financial situation. Some people, they love that predictability of a salary. Others, they need the flexibility of hourly work and the chance to earn more. The important thing is to know yourself. What motivates you? What makes you feel secure and fulfilled? Do you want stability, or do you thrive on the hustle? Asking yourself these questions, it can really help you figure out the best way to get paid, the way that works for you. And hey, remember this, your career, it's a journey. It's not a destination. Your needs, your priorities, they'll change over time, and that's okay. What matters is staying informed, staying curious, and always going after a career that makes you feel good and gives you that financial success you're looking for.